Chris Cain, PGA Golf Administrator of the Professional Golf Management Program at UNLV, is the recipient of the Southwest PGA Horton Smith Award. The award is presented annually to a PGA professional who exhibits commendable additions to the education of PGA golf professionals. In addition to his duties at UNLV for the PGM program, Chris is an associate professor for the William F. Harrah College of Hospitality. As a UNLV Teaching Academy Fellow, he received his PhD in higher education with a focus on educational leadership. When Chris began his career at UNLV, the PGA program required a change. He immediately supported a new curriculum and focused efforts on creating a culture of effective leadership. The PGM program at UNLV is centered around philanthropy and engaging with the local community. The practice provides PGM students with opportunities to grow the game of golf and be involved in the communities in which they work and live. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcoming and congratulating the Southwest PGA Horton Smith Award honoree, Mr. Chris Cain.
Where did this spark, this passion for education come from?
Sure, no, that's a fair question. I really appreciate the kind words, and before I answer the question, I think it's necessary to thank my beautiful and brilliant bride and my family who's here today, Lisa and my son Henry and Juliet. They certainly encourage me to be the best version of myself each day, and I'm blessed to have that family, and I love them dearly. And I love my colleague who's sitting with me too, in a different way, Brian, certainly.
Whoa!
Brian, Brian's an alum, and he's our assistant director, and he made the trip out. And Kendall wanted to, but he couldn't make it, and working with Barb too for a number of years, 16 years now, and it's been wonderful.
Well, somebody has to watch the shop, as we say in the golf business.
Isn't that the truth, huh? Yeah. But as far as passion is concerned for education, I think I was very fortunate growing up, and I didn't have the opportunity to choose my parents. I was born into a very supportive family, so I was very lucky there. I didn't have the opportunity to choose what country I grew up in, and I grew up here in America. And I didn't have really much of a say of whether or not I was going to play in golf. My dad said, "You're playing golf." And for that, I am eternally lucky. So as far as education, and to get back to your question, I think I just was born with a head start, and I'm very grateful for that. So I was exposed to the benefits of education and the passion to learn. And I started that passion at Penn State and had a great experience there, and then worked in the golf industry for about 10 years. Sure. And I made it a goal to go back for a graduate degree, but at the time I was a golf professional, and you know how it is as a golf professional to find the work-life balance to pursue further education is very difficult. So at that time I needed to take a leap of faith and resign as head golf professional to pursue what I thought was a calling in education. So I traded in my polo and my slacks for jeans and a t-shirt for a couple of years and was a full-time grad student, and cut grass and didn't miss the Wednesday dollar taco nights because you just needed to make ends meet to get through it. And then after that experience was over, I had an opportunity to go back into golf or get back into education, and I decided that I wanted to do both, and that was education and golf at a university setting. And went back to UNLV and started there in 2004. Been there for 16 years, and I had some time at night, so for about 7 years I pursued my PhD at night, and that was a difficult time and took a lot of commitment, but we got it done. And in that process of furthering my education, I gained greater perspective. I became a better mentor, and I found out that the more I learned, the more I didn't know. And I think that's probably the passion that drives me for education and to be in this setting. It's just very dynamic, and there's so much to learn, and there's so much to give back.
Sure. That's terrific. Now, we both grew up in New Jersey.
How about that?
Yeah, that's pretty good, huh?
Doesn't everybody grow up in Jersey?
Well, for the most part. But I was in southern New Jersey, which is Long Beach Island,
That's
in
right.
that area. Not as many golf courses as the northern part where
Yeah.
you're at. But still, that's a great spot, and great spot
was-
to grow up
that was awesome.
as a young man. So when you arrived at UNLV, I mean, the program wasn't something that, that you would be super proud of to begin with. You took it and just built it and changed it and put a lot of heart and energy into it. And since then, it's become one of the models for the programs across the country. So it's respected by all the other PGA programs. And a lot of golf professionals, they get their young assistant pros and interns from you. So, how proud are you of what you've done there and where it's at today versus where it was when you got there?
Oh, sure. It's been a tremendous journey, and we've gotten there together. It's been the students, it's been the alumni, it's been the industry supporters,
Right.
it's been this section, it's been our chapter in Las Vegas that has really supported our program. We couldn't have done it without them. I'm most proud of the students and the alumni, clearly. They represent who we are. And we had to change a few things early on. We had to change our recruitment philosophy. We're not looking for freshmen. We're not looking for first-year students. We were looking for people that had the potential to be graduates, that had a passion for the industry and the game. And that's a shift, that's a change. So when you get those passionate individuals in a program and you get them all together, they feed off each other. And that's the type of culture we've created at UNLV. That's the type of culture we've created with the PGA program. And in turn, we put them out in the industry and they become proud alumni. And I couldn't be more proud of the alumni that are working for us, and Brian and Kendall. Kyle just left us last year, and now he's leading all the university programs for PGA HQ. Our first international student was upset that he couldn't go on international internships, so now he's working for PGA HQ and leading the global initiative for international internships for all the PGA university programs. And time after time, we're seeing alumni just step up to the plate, whether it be Paxton O'Connor here at Director of Instruction at Desert Mountain here in this area, or Lindsay, who's the Director of Instruction at Topgolf Las Vegas, one of the few female Director of Instruction at a flagship property like Topgolf. We're just very proud of what we've been able to do with the product we're giving back to the community and the industry.
Well, you've done so much. We actually had one of your interns here this summer, and he was terrific.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, he's like, oh, man.
Well, I hope you would say that.
So the PGA program, or PGM program at UNLV is centered around philanthropy and mentoring and engaging with local community. How important is mentoring and aspiring, fellow PGA members through education, in the industry? How important is that to you?
Sure, it's a big part of what we do at the PGA program at UNLV. The curriculum among these programs are very similar. They're guided by the PGA of America. The major difference is what major they sit in at the university, and ours is in hospitality, which we believe to be a good fit. But the differentiator for us, especially being at UNLV and being in Las Vegas, is taking advantage of the students' time outside of the classroom, because the classroom time is limited. So what can we do to create an environment where education is beyond the classroom? And that education is through community service. That education is through philanthropy. That education is to serve the need of an urban environment that is so desperately in the need for an engine of good. And I can't think of a greater game or industry that's the engine of good. So when we have our students in the program for the 4 years, 4.5, some 5, some 6, but we won't talk about those, it gives us the opportunity to enlighten the students that education goes beyond the classroom. And no matter where you are at any moment of time, there's always an opportunity to give back. Many of the students we have in our program are very fortunate. and many of them will be leaders of their own communities when they become graduates.
Right.
So if we can plant the seed while they're here at UNLV of how important it is to give back and be that leader of their community through the game of golf, and we're just going to sit back and watch it grow.
That's awesome. So, in addition to the duties that you have at the university for the PGM program, you're an associate professor. So, tell us a little bit about that, and also, you see the advances in the PGA education program over the years, and where do you think the future of the education program for the PGA is going?
Well, wow, that's a long question. It could be a long answer, but we'll wrap it up in a couple minutes here. I've had the opportunity to serve on the National Education Committee for the last 6 years. And in the last 2 years, helped develop the curriculum for the executive management track, which is part of the 3.0 curriculum. Mm-hmm. And that was an eye-opener for myself and I believe the PGA of America. And it is awesome that our association gives so much back to the member in educational opportunities. I can't think of another professional association that gives back so much to their membership to help with their career mobility. It's profound. So this 3.0 curriculum is fascinating. It gives the associate, it gives the member the opportunity to specialize, whether it be golf operations, teaching and coaching, executive management, and they can pick that path and grow along that path and be clearly experts in that area. Mm-hmm. And for the future of education, I think that's necessary. I think if you take a look at other disciplines like law or the medical field, there are doctors and lawyers that are specialized in certain areas because the market dictates that specialization. And the consumer is becoming more sophisticated. So golf is no different. So our professionals need to be more sophisticated. And it was an eye-opener for us in developing this executive management curriculum. The first of its kind certificate program where UNLV and the PGA of America joined forces. And anybody in this room as a member could get a certificate from UNLV's Herrick College of Hospitality in executive management at no cost to the member, other than the certification fee that the PGA would charge. In addition to that curriculum that we built, we also developed 5 courses for the associate program. And Leanne just talked about diversity and inclusion. That was one of the courses we created for the associate program, so that every future member will understand the awareness of what it is to be diverse and inclusive in their work, whether it be consumer-based or the people that they're hiring. That's just an example of a course that we were able to develop. So the future of PGA education is clearly on track. And my hope is that everybody in this room, and hopefully we can tell one other person, is to get certified, is to become that master professional, is to become something unique that sets you apart, because the competition's growing. There's more than just PGA professionals in the workforce, but we're the best.
Well said. Well, Chris, thank you for all that you've done for education. I mean, I know the body of work is incredible. We could go on for hours.
I appreciate that.
But we do appreciate your energy and your passion for education and all that you do for our section. Thank you.
Thank you for hosting.